beautiful Tuesday morning in
Beautiful Tuesday morning.
Wilmington, California.
Wilmington, California.
Oh, it's not Long Beach. Where's Long Beach? Is that far
Long
from
Beach
here?
is a little bit east, right?
Over the Vincent Thomas Bridge or over the 2 bridges that we have on PCH.
Yeah.
And you're in Long Beach, California. So we're in Wilmington today.
Close enough, though.
Can you hear us, Mama?
Good.
Microphones need to be. Do I need to be closer to my mic?
Yeah, it's best. She does all the editing, so it's kind of like if you talk right on the mic, you're good to go. I still drift away and because I talk to the guests and stuff like that.
Gotcha. Okay.
It is what it is. This morning we have a very special guest for you all.
Oh, you guys are too kind. Thank you.
And
you're fluffing me for something.
oh no.
You know.
We always like the guest to introduce yourself.
What are you selling? What
Yeah.
What are you selling today?
What
So
are you
basically, I have this idea, right? Hear me out.
There's this shoe I've been shoe sale. No, but go ahead and just introduce yourself.
Thanks, I appreciate it. I'm Rami with Renegade Products, the best manufacturing company that makes detailing products in the world. No, in the galaxy.
In the galaxy.
In the
Galaxy,
galaxy. In the Milky
Some
Way.
would say the universe. Who knows?
Yeah, we know what's going on in Andromeda, but we'll check it out later.
All right, Rami. Let's just start at the beginning, man.
Oh my God, really? Do
I
you know
know.
how old I am? Really? You want to start at the beginning?
I mean,
it's like beginning of
beginning of time.
like beginning of time or beginning when Jesus was around.
Yeah.
No,
right?
no. When did the idea come? We
Ah.
could. I know you said you don't want to go too far into
Well-
the beginning of the story.
Well, no, I think you have to understand a little bit of kind of where we were to understand where we are.
Yeah.
The company actually I own is not really called Renegade Products. The Renegade Products is a trade name.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
The actual name of the company is Maverick Abrasives.
Okay.
And I started manufacturing. I started my own thing, and I'm going to date myself here. In
What was that? What was that?
19,
19.
1991 is when I started my racket.
Oh, okay.
All right?
So when I was born.
There you go. See, you can call me Tio if you want. It's no
right, cool,
problem. And then I started actual manufacturing in 97, late 97, early 98. And my main business actually is the manufacturing of sanding belts for grinding and sanding metal.
Okay.
Okay, so I sell to aerospace companies, automotive companies, truck companies, people that make, this tabletop would have been sanded after it was put together with these dovetail joints and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. That's what I make for a living. That is still probably 3/4 of my business is making sanding belts that go into other factories that make things for consumers primarily or for like military.
Okay.
That's really my main business. And out of that, because everything that gets sanded needs to have a cosmetic finish afterwards. For example, you look at any bumper, any wheel, it's got to be, if it's plated or powder coated, it's got to be sanded and then polished.
Polished, yeah.
So that led me into metal finishing, polishing compounds and polishing wheels.
Okay.
And I still do that to this day. Mm-hmm. And that was, again, all industrial for the longest time, up until late 2015, when we, out of a few flukes that occurred, we got into the big rig market. And you look at any of these big rigs rolling on the freeway, a lot of that aluminum and stainless steel has been polished on those rigs. Mm-hmm. And of course, we make polishing compounds and polishing wheels. So we approached that market and started selling them polishing compounds and polishing wheels through primarily the truck stops, a little bit online. But our focus at that point was still brick and mortar. It was basically truck stops and what they call chrome shops, truck stops. Those dealers that would carry stuff on the shelf for the truckers, whether it's a Red Bull or like aspirin or products using to keep their trucks clean. Mm-hmm. Well, I remember a conversation I had with a brick and mortar truck stop late in 2015, and I asked the purchasing agent, like, hey, how can we get more of our buffing wheels and buffing compounds on your shelf? And, she looked at me, she said, well, yeah, the truckers do buy that stuff. But really what they mostly purchase are liquids, specifically liquid metal polishes.
Okay.
And that kind of, light bulb went up in my head because we make that for a living, but for the industrial world.
Okay.
So we then started making liquid metal polish, and we played around with it with a few of our truckers and professional polishers, and launched our first liquid metal polish, our first, I would call it detailing product, if you want to call it that, into the trucking market at the I don't know if most of you are familiar with SEMA probably.
Yeah,
Automotive.
of course.
There's the SEMA version for big rigs is called MATS, or the Mid America Trucking Show, which takes place at the end of March in Louisville, Kentucky, and that's what kicks off the big trucking season, the big show truck season. It starts off in March and then moves forward. So that's kind of like our SEMA for trucking. We launched our liquid metal polish and people loved it, and then we made some more, and then we added a spray wax, and then we added a car soap, a truck soap, basically, and it's just been one product after another, and that's kind of how that whole thing evolved. And I didn't want to call it Maverick like cleaning products because then people would hop on our website and like go after page after page after page of sanding belts, like where's the cleaning stuff. So we just broke it off and named it Renegade Products, essentially as a trade name, because it would make it easier for us to concentrate those liquids under that trade name and market and sell under those trade names without the interference of all the other products that didn't make sense for you as a trucker. You're not going to go buy, a wide belt sanding, belt for, sanding your truck. So let's just focus on what that is. And that's kind of how we got here. So we started really in earnest late 2015 and then built our website, and it's just really honestly been just growing, and it's been the hustle ever since.
Okay. Would you say that during, pandemic hit and everything, would you say that sales went up due to people doing more of the stuff themselves at home?
Yeah. I think yes and no. I think for us, definitely there were a lot more people. There was a spike in sales. By that time, by 2020, we had been very engrossed in online sales, basically through whether our own website or through Amazon and so forth. So by 2020, like, we knew that game, we knew what we were doing, and what 2020 showed us basically was not so much the increase in sales, because it did go up, but if I can back up just a little bit, actually most of what I sell in the trucking industry, believe it or not, is not in California. Almost all of my business is in the Midwest, into the Southeast, that the trucking heartland.
Yeah.
And most of those industries didn't really they were considered what was that term they used? Essential industries or something?
Essential workers. Or something
essential workers, something like that. So trucking was considered essential. So none of that shut down. So was there a spike in sales? A little bit, but I think what 2020 showed us as a company is that people now have gotten over the fear of just clicking and getting a box delivered to them.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's really what showed us in 2020, and it kind of changed the whole dynamic of online sales, and that really shifted our whole position, basically starting in late 2020 into oh wow, I guess we had been doing a little bit of ad spend, with Google and Facebook and so forth. But when we hit 2020 and saw how much that ad spend actually can generate for us, we just went man, that's where we need to go. It's ad spend. And it's been that way ever since, honestly.
Okay. What would you say got you into, because I didn't even know about the whole trucking thing. I mainly kind of seen your videos on you creating the products for detailing and whatever. What would you say made you hop into that market?
Into the trucking market?
Well, into the detailing, cars and whatnot.
Because at the end of the day, whether it's the sanding belt for my mainline manufacturing, or it's a bottle of spray wax or all-purpose cleaner for your truck or your car, we affectionately call it toilet paper. Okay, it's a consumable.
Yeah.
Hey, as long as you're crapping, you got to wipe, right?
We hope you are.
That's what it is.
I hope you're wiping.
You would hope, unless you got a bidet set up, but that is the essence of consumables in a consumer market. You want to try to capture the brand loyalty of an individual, a guy or a gal that likes our product, and as long as they are using our tire shine, our spray wax, our soap, or whatever, it's okay, I got to come back and buy it. Now, it's not the type of product, it's not like it's milk where it's gone in a week. So you want to build it over the long term. You want to build that funnel that takes, so you're going to buy whatever 3 or 4 bottles of stuff January 1, and you may not come back till September, for example, or maybe even the next January, after the snow's gone and you're starting, okay, I got to get my car or my truck cleaned out for the season.
Ready. Yeah.
So that's kind of the whole thing, is just kind of building it. I call it Lego block marketing, because you're building something one little Lego block at a time. Like you got a bunch of these scattered Lego blocks, none of them mean anything until you
put it
you
all
start
together.
putting it all together, and you end up getting, it's like, oh wow, look what I'm building. And like, let's just say you're building a castle, for example. Well, great, I built the castle, but you can just keep building upon it, and that's the beauty of Lego block business, is that you can keep building and building and building. The downside of it, which doesn't match really the Lego block scenario, is that our business, and really almost any business, I don't know if any business does not have this problem, you will also always lose customers. You will always, whether it's like, hey, I decided I found something better, something cheaper. My uncle loved your product and he died.
Yeah.
So he's not gonna be buying it anymore. That kind of stuff.
That's the thing. People find excuse to not buy stuff all the time.
So
It
it's
is
just,
what it is.
it's like, sometimes it's like, I happen to walk into Walmart and the stuff was 30% off, and normally I pay you $10, I'm only gonna pay $6 today. So like, I can't resist that kind of stuff. So you'll always lose business, always lose some measure of business. But the key in successful, especially online marketing, is just to keep you got to hit it and hit it and hit it, and it's just like it's a constant thing. And that between the ad spend and the social media aspect of it, the branding, it is just nonstop.
What would you say in the years you've been in business and been doing your own thing? Because
the decades I've been in business, is that what you're saying? Is that what you're trying to say?
I'm trying to be nice.
Trying to say you're a little experienced,
Been in,
been in the game.
Seasoned. In the years you've been in business, what would you say is one of the toughest things you've ever had to go through?
Oh man,
I know in years is probably a bunch, but
most of the time, honestly, I'll be totally candid with you. Most of the times in business, when you've got two types of businesses out there. You've got some businesses rely so heavily on a single customer or couple of customers that carry that entire business. Like if I say I sold 80% of my stuff to Boeing, and Boeing decides we're not building that plane anymore, or we're going to move the plant to Missouri or whatever. It's like, that's my whole life. My whole infrastructure is gone. Okay. And there's a lot of that business out there where people kind of build their entire infrastructure personally and business wise around that. And that can be very debilitating once a big, massive change happens. I remember, and I've lived through my many, many, many decades here. I mean, I lived through the ups and downs. I remember in the heyday of, I don't know if you two are golfers or not.
I know a little bit.
I lived through the buildup of the golf club industry in the late 80s and into the 90s. Dude, I was visiting some of these plants that would spit out 400,000 or 500,000 clubs a month. 100,000 clubs a month. And that's just one plant. Okay. And there's like 7 or 8 of them they're pumping out 3-4 million heads a month of golf clubs. And now it's just all fucking gone. It's like, it's just gone. It's like, imagine like if I built my whole infrastructure around these couple of 3 companies supplying them product to sand golf club heads, what would happen? I've seen that come and go. I've seen the big wheel industry come and go. I've seen all the aluminum castings that, all the light fixtures, for example. And a lot of this stuff is not that it's gone from here. It's from like around you. It's just gone out of the country.
Yeah.
Is the problem.
That's the big thing.
And that's also shown me that if I focus more on the consumers in this country versus the manufacturers, I'll be more insulated from the changes. Okay, so like you might own that big casting house down the road that makes these housings for street lights. Okay, but if you're going to move that to somewhere offshore or even to another state, but you're still here though, and your stuff needs to be cleaned, whether it's by you or by your detailer or by maybe your wife or whoever. My wife, by the way, my wife's a handyman in the house. It's like, to like, listen, honey, everything's 50-50.
As it should be.
50-50. Make sure like you're the handy woman.
oh man. No, that makes sense.
So it's consumable. So I forgot what your question was. I don't know if I answered even.
No, you did. You did. I mean, it just seems like in your line of work, you have to be kind of. I don't think the word is flexible, but you kind of have to be resilient in not relying on one certain thing.
You know what I mean? Exactly. And then there's the other part of it, which I think I didn't finish. It's like my business, which is basically made up of because the advantage of having one big customer is like you can
Yeah.
build your network, you can build your systems around that. You can be doing the same thing over and over. We're building these parts for Boeing day in and day out. You can become very efficient doing that. You know, it's like you really can become very efficient doing when you're creating products for people that are buying. Like our average online sales order is like $90. Okay, so we're getting like a stack like this every morning. You know, pull, ship. It's like, you know, I've got like a small, like family, a small army of like, it's just fulfillment. It's like our mini Amazon in
Yeah.
house. It's like whenever we go to hire somebody now, it's not like I would never hire another salesperson because I don't need it. I can just do everything online, but I'll hire another person to
package,
fulfill all
ship,
day
and all that
long.
stuff,
Yeah.
Yeah. So it kind of seems like in your years of being in the industry, you've learned that you can't be dependent on one.
No, you
It's
can't.
just,
You
you
can't
know-
be dependent. You can't be dependent on one company or one customer. Honestly, you can't be dependent on one product. I mean, a lot of stuff goes, in and out, in and out. It's like some stuff, really popular for a while, and it just kind of fades away. And again, you get to the consumable part of it. It's like, we've tried to stay away from the trends. It's like, the trend to do this, trend to do that. Yeah, it's like you could always do that kind of stuff. Like some of our competitors, for example, will occasionally do. One of our competitors, like, oh, no matter what occasion it is during the year, Mother's Day, Father's Day, 4th of July, Basque Day, whatever the heck it is. It's like, oh, we got a special bottle for that.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, that's fine. That's their marketing. Like, I'm not going to knock them for it, but it just comes it's just very confusing sometimes to the customers, to a small, minute group that do like that collectible type stuff, the Cabbage Patch shit or whatever it is.
Yeah. Like they would have
Yeah.
to be a big fanboy
Yeah,
of
I'm
it, right?
collecting Teletubbies or whatever it is, and I love that stuff. But it's like, but by and large, I think you got to take your customers seriously, because you want to be seen as like, our whole focus in our company is we want to be seen as a high-end, high-line provider of products for you to keep your rig, your boat, your truck, your car, whatever, clean. All right. And we want to ensure that we instill that confidence in you, so that when we do introduce our new product, like, oh yeah, you know what, I like their other shit, so this stuff must be good too.
Yeah.
Because I know these guys, care enough about their customer, as opposed to just churning out the money. And that's what, I think, for us, dude, I gotta tell you, like, again, I know we had this conversation before we hopped on the mics. It's expensive to not only work but also to live in Southern California. I don't have to tell you guys that.
Yup.
And we can't afford to create products that are going to compete solely on pricing, because we will always win that battle. There's always going to be somebody cheaper.
Yeah.
So we go the other direction. We're creating a lifestyle, a brand that people trust and want to believe in and want to become a part of.
Yeah.
And we, I don't have to move to Texas, for example, to save money. I mean, I could move to freaking Barstow if I want to.
Yep.
But at the end of the day, it's not all about money. It's like, also, like, as an owner, I want to make sure that I'm enjoying my life as well. It's not just about, money in the bank and stuff like that. And I tell my kids all the time, I'm like, it's like, yeah, can we be richer? Sure. But it's like, where's the quality of life at that point? It's like, I don't want to be, I don't want to be in Vegas.
Yeah.
I don't want to be in Springfield, Missouri.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Like, if you always like look at it, like all these rich billionaires and stuff, they're always working till like in their 80s.
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, really? Like, you made this fortune and stuff, and you're still working. There's a reasoning behind that, right? Maybe they're not really like ready for it, or who knows? They have so much out there.
Some people just like doing what they're doing. I think most of the successful billionaires do it are still doing it because they like what they do.
Could be it, yeah.
I have a friend of mine that worked for one of the local cities. As an engineer in one of the local cities. He could not wait till he retired. He just could not wait. And, he'll rag on me because I'll be, and I still do shows around the country. I'll still hop on a plane, every once a month or something like that. I was like, where are you going? We're going to have dinner. Or what are you doing this weekend? Like, I'm going to be over and blah, blah, blah. He goes, oh, like, well, why? It's like, well, what do you mean why? He goes, well, why don't you just retire? Why don't you let Gary do it? My son, basically. And I said, no, man, I like doing this shit.
Yeah.
I like it. I like the networking. It's like, that's what makes me successful. It's what allows me to see what I need to see, so that I, for me, I don't golf, I don't bowl, I don't, my hobby is I don't say my hobby is my business, but I definitely enjoy what I do, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, no. Of course. I mean, and at the end of the day too, you work your ass off to get to where you're at. You know what I mean? It wasn't an easy journey. I'm
Yeah, there are no for you out there who think there's an easy way to make money beyond a lotto ticket. There really isn't. It's just hard work and time,
and just patience, commitment, of course. Obviously,
hard work and time. Yeah,
just learning something. I think, and just like what we do. I mean, it's kind of like you do have to put in the time and the energy to keep
just time, like
keep evolving in this world.
A couple of young pretty boys. I mean, you got a lot of upside still. So just keep cranking on it. That's all it is.
And I told people, like, obviously we're not making money off of this, but it's fun, And I told we get to meet cool people like you, all the other people that we interviewed, and I think that's a benefit from it as well.
It's about network. Yeah, it's like did I need to be here today? No, okay, but like it's good to meet people and network, and you just never know where things go.
Yeah.
Let's dial it back now into the car scene.
Mm-hmm.
We were talking a little bit about the Renegade compound and whatnot, and what have you seen your compound turn into in the years that you've?
Yeah, thanks for that question. That's a good question. So getting back to basically my bread and butter of big rigs. Big rigs still, for all the Renegade stuff we do, big rig is still probably 2/3 of it, maybe even a little bit more. But we're well established enough in the big rig scene that I don't really need to be at all these big rig shows around the country. I'll do maybe a couple, 3 every year.
Yeah.
The ones that are important to me, where I need to be there, like the SEMA version mats. There's another one I go to in Wisconsin that I like. There's a third one that I'll occasionally go to. I have, collaborators or partners that will go to shows, on my behalf. They'll set up my tent, and I support them that way. So there's still that presence out there for us. That's so important as far as the branding. But I decided about a year and a half ago or so, I decided, you know what, this is after SEMA 21. I decided, I don't really need to be everywhere anymore. And I am kind of, every time I hop on a plane at LAX or Long Beach or Orange County, I'm driving by this vast and incredible community of lowriders and import tuners.
Yeah.
Okay. And this is like the center of the galaxy for that stuff as far as we know right now. Okay. And I'm like, and for me, that stuff resonates because, like, when I was younger, again, like I am dating myself again. My father had an Impala. He had a Cutlass. He had a Monte Carlo. Like, I remember being in the back seat with some of that music, and that's real 70s music, by the way. Not that 80s or 90s shit. Okay?
Not that disco shit. Okay.
No, like I love the disco, but it's like,
come on, man.
But it's like that was like, you're talking about the real R&B Motown type stuff. Like that's like, I remember that. It's like still ingrained in my head. And so I told myself, you know what? I'm just going to start concentrating on my local people here.
Yeah.
And we started, doing our usual thing, networking and getting a hold of people. And, at the end of the day, I tell everybody, I may be a company that manufactures stuff, but my advice to anybody out there that wants to promote their product or products, you have to kind of pivot your mindset. And like you're behind the scenes, you make stuff for a living, but what is going to make you successful in this marketplace, any marketplace really, now and moving forward, is you have to kind of pivot, and you're a media company. I tell my people all the time, we are not a manufacturing company. We can make the best shit in the world, but if nobody finds out about it, what does it matter?
Yeah.
So we are a media company first. That's what we focus on, is the media, the content creation, and the broadcasting of that message, which not only supports the branding, but also supports the ad spend. Because we do spend a ton of money on ad spend, because that really is what the name of the game is right there.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry, what's your question again? I keep going off on these.
That's what we do here. So we ask a question, if it goes a certain way and it goes into it.
So let me get back to like how we got into the the local car scene. Great. You know what? I love the lowriders, incredible vehicles. I love the music. The customization on them is just so outrageous. And this is coming from a person that works with the customization on the big rig scene.
Yeah.
So I've seen that in the big rig scene, and this is, I don't want to say it's a smaller version of it because it's really very different.
Yeah.
But the love of your vehicle, the pride of ownership is definitely there. And I love the vehicles. I hope my wife doesn't watch this clip because I love the Latinas also. They're amazing women. the music is unbelievable. The scene is great. And so I decided, I'm going to do the lowrider thing. I want to take a shot at that. I love it. And our first couple of ventures into it was going up to the usual places in LA to do a shoot. And I'm like, what is this shit? Really, like, you expect me to come up to LA, and do this, artwork, in this environment where it's like, God help you if Montezuma's revenge wants to hit you this afternoon or something like that.
Yeah.
It's like, or, people are driving by at 90 miles an hour showboating, or people are next to you, like, not really letting you do your thing because they're loud or obnoxious or drunk or whatever it is. And I said, screw this shit. So I said, you know what? I got this piece of real estate the Almighty has blessed me with. I'm just going to tag it up. Originally was I'm just going to tag it. Just basically look like it's some kind of urban art. Then I thought, you know what? Maybe we've got this big, massive piece of wall right here, which is actually somebody else's wall. It's just the backside of their building. And we just, we hired somebody called Vila, a great artist, and he put up that first mural. And we're like, wow, that's pretty freaking cool. We just added more. And then we just started doing our own little media there. And then people started seeing that. And some of the local show organizers were like, oh, can we put on an event at your place? I'm like, heck yeah. So that's kind of how it started rolling. And now we're able to do kind of our own mini lowrider shows and import tuner shows. And we've had a couple of big rigs there. We just did a training class this past weekend on metal polishing, and that was right in front of the mural. So it just makes for great art, a great environment.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how we got into it, really.
Okay. What would be what do you have planned for the future for the compound? Are you thinking about maybe like, as far as like on the social media side, do you want to do something like a, monthly kind of?
Oh yeah. No, totally. We've got, as long as there is space on the walls or a roll-up door or a garage or something, we're going to tag it. We're either going to tag it or put a mural on it. I just have to find if there are any taggers or muralists out there that want to do something with us. Just come on down and talk to me. But that's definitely what we want to do. It's just, for us, it's our studio.
Yeah.
And again, we'll do shows there with the show organizers, and sometimes we'll just do stuff by ourselves. Okay. Because at the end of the day, we still need to promote our product, and rather than just being on the parking lot or something like that, we're in a much more aesthetically pleasing environment where we're able to capture that content.
And in your own place too.
Yeah.
You can do whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah, and that's right. We do whatever we want. The police don't bother. Actually, we had the show before. 2 police officers stopped and they walked in. They just walked the show. It's like, hey, what are you guys doing? Blah 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 blah. Oh, okay. They bought themselves a couple of tacos and left.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like at the end of the day, like it's just a job that they're doing, and and at the end of the day, they're car guys too. Because I know when I got hit,
a lot of them,
a lot of them are car guys. Can't say the names on camera, but a lot of them are car guys. Even when I got hit in my truck, and the dude was like, "Hey man, just stay over here. Like, don't worry about it." He's like, "Yeah, I got a El Camino myself." And he's like, "Yeah, I got El Camino myself." I'm like, "Hey bro, you're not gonna get me for not having plates." He's like, "Nah, don't worry about it. You know the number?" I'm like, "Yeah, I know the number." He's like, "Yeah, this dude's fucked. It's your fault. It's his fault. It's his fault." Just shit like that. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's like at the end of the day, they're just doing their job. You know 100%, what I mean?
100%. Yeah.
But okay, you have any questions, Jose? I'm gonna let you.
You're usually the question guy. I just butt in. You know what I mean? I find my way to get in there. I don't know. Do I have something? I usually have something. It'll come to my mind right now.
Sure. You sure? I got one.
Go for it. Go for it while I think of it.
Let's talk about this Renegade little series you guys are doing. You have a secondary page where you guys are doing like a little interview on the drivers and stuff like that.
Yeah, so we've got actually 2 pages, 2 main pages. There is the product page, which is Renegade Products USA. Mm-hmm. And that's pretty straightforward, like product being used, whether it's, us creating a clip or I like to use a lot of user-generated content. Like my customers, my users, a lot of people will DM me or they'll tag me in something. I'll take that and I'll slice it up, dice it up, add music, whatever, and use it. And a lot of people like that because they get to see their content basically in a larger form. Because like almost all of my users are, 1 man, 2 man, one woman shows basically. So for them, they may have 600 followers, but then when you got like a brand like us supporting them with that content, it shows. It shows the love and we get the love back. So we do that on the main page. The main page is primarily like 98% of it is just primarily product. Okay. The secondary page, which I started a couple of years ago, is called the lifestyle page, and that's kind of more the fun stuff, if you will. And that's kind of the, the girl interviews, the more the lifestyle. It's actually evolved almost now. Back then it was, I don't want to mix candidly. I don't want to mix too many women with too much product.
Yeah.
Okay, because that's a confusing message for some of the heartland people. It's like, oh, you're using a woman to sell, you can cut this part out, but like some of these
Yeah.
they just fucking drive me crazy. It's like, you know what? You don't fuck? It's like, I don't understand. It's like it's such a fucking level of hypocrisy.
Yeah.
So you can have this fucking grouchy old fuck that's 55 years old with his belly sticking out. He's a size 50 belly, and he can hold up a bottle. That's okay.
Yeah.
I mean, that's fine. But if you get a woman. I'm not saying she's a model or anything like that.
No, yeah.
She's a blue collar girl. She does
Yeah.
fucking powder coating.
Yeah.
If she wants to hold up my bottle, oh yeah, you're relying on women to sell your product.
No.
It's like, no,
It's like they know what they're fucking doing too.
Yeah, I'm just looking for user generated content. Like, I'm just gonna break off the women into the other page. That way, it's like the main page for those people that only want to see dudes holding bottles and grinders. There it is for you. Okay.
Yeah.
The secondary page, the lifestyle page, became essentially more of like a fun page for me, because I get to show more of the funner aspects of what we do, basically behind the scenes almost, at shows, at truck and car shows. And also because the main page is a business page, I can't use any of the good music.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whereas on the lifestyle page, and I can use some of the good music. Yeah. And then that started about the same time I started getting into the lowrider scene. And so that lifestyle page has almost become the lowrider page, honestly. It's become primarily a lowrider centric type of community there.
Yeah. I mean, that's how I seen it.
Yeah, and that's what it's become. Exactly. So it's become like more, lowrider cars and women and the environment, the scene. And I'm happy with that because, that's, it's like my lifestyle page. It's not really designed to be a product page. It's not really designed to necessarily sell you product or highlight product. It's designed primarily for branding. And if it's like at this point in time, because we're doing really more lowrider centric stuff, then that's fine. Like I go to truck shows and some of that content will be big rig show centric. Sometimes it'll be tuner centric. It's just, I don't really feel like it has to be one thing or the other. It's, for me, the lifestyle page is essentially almost the equivalent of like a Twitter feed.
Yeah.
What's going on right now?
Yeah.
And if it just happens to be lowriders right now, it's just lowriders. And we just have to be doing more lowrider, then we're doing more lowrider. But like I said, if I go to a big rig show in 2 weeks and there's more of that media that's appropriate for that, then I'll feed that for a little while.
So you can say it's like more for the consumer, right? Like
right, yeah, it's just more for like, it's
For
really
that
more
type of
top of
consumer.
funnel branding, really more than anything. But it really has become more lowrider centric.
Yeah.
And I am not unhappy with that because, that's I'm not unhappy for two reasons. One, because the lowrider scene tends to be more like visually important, honestly.
Yeah.
And the second part of it is, and I'll be totally honest with you guys, I think the average trucker in the central part of the country just cannot really, like if I put lowrider cleaning media on the main page, they're just not going to really dig it.
Yeah.
They're just not going to understand it. So that's why the lifestyle page become more of the lowrider branding media as well.
Yeah, and that's pretty smart, because you would want to keep, you don't have to keep it separate, but it kind of works in that way too,
It does. It does work. I mean, if I was king, I would only want one page.
Yeah, of course.
If I was king, it's like I only want one page.
Yeah.
But that's just the way the dynamics are, because just my main page is so product centric, and so like product use centric. I think visually having like even something as like, I would call it innocent, but something just like interviewing a car owner, a lowrider owner, wouldn't really resonate with a lot of that population.
Yeah.
It's like what product is being used and why? Well, no product is really being used.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, I feel like it's a business at the end of the day. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And you have to. I kind of like it because at the end of the day, it's like, oh, cool, I stumbled upon this page, and it's like, oh, but then I could go to the other page, and it's okay. Here's what products are
right. Yeah, exactly. We'll do some of that. There's some more creeping lowrider usage within that the lifestyle page, but it's more designed just to catch people's attention and for branding.
Gravitate them, and
yeah.
hey, they might go to the main page.
It's more for branding, yeah. It's it's like if you see some of the lowrider content on the lifestyle page, I'm hoping what you'll do is go to the bio, go to Renegade Products USA, and look around and say, oh yeah, they got some good looking spray waxes or some tire dressings or stuff like that. And we do have a tab within our within our website. It is specific to lowrider products.
Oh, okay.
So there is a tab within that that's
even easier, man.
lowrider. So you can just hit that tab and go to the products that we like. All of our products will work on any vehicle.
Yeah.
But we just made it easier by saying, hey, this tab is like if you're a person that owns a lowrider and wants to keep that clean. These are ones that we feel are most appropriate for you, or the easiest for you to use.
Oh yeah, and that's for people like me. That's what I want, you know.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Easy.
Exactly.
Straight direct to the point.
Straight direct to the
Yeah.
point.
It's like I'm a lowrider. I'm gonna hit the lowrider tab. You know exactly. Yeah.
That's awesome. What do you want to see the company do within the next coming years?
You know, I want to focus more and more on media. I think that the future still is media. I think we are maybe a little ahead of the curve when it comes to a lot of companies in our space. Of course, there are the huge, well-known names that do media constantly, but I think I think TikTok has showed us something very valuable.
Oh yeah.
TikTok has showed us that you can still have entertaining media that can get a message about a product out.
Yeah.
Okay. And a lot of people just still, a lot of big brands still don't understand that. Definitely the people in the cosmetics and the skincare, those people are way ahead of the curve. They understand that. They know what they're doing. But I mean, you look at some, like some of the people are just like, they still think that, I'm on social media only to show you this.
Yes, yeah.
And that's really, what you see with the lifestyle page that we're doing is essentially the TikTok version of that. And I post it, by the way, to both, so it's the same content.
Okay.
But it is a subliminal kind of like, great way to create brand awareness in an entertaining fashion without an in-your-face sale.
Yeah, and without it being boring, you know what I mean?
Right.
You have all these people making these funny videos, and at the end, it's like, hey, check this out.
Right, yeah. And the one caveat I would say to anybody that's doing this or going to do it is, I think the focus is unfortunately so much on virality. It's like, I post up something and I only got 1,000 views or 2,000 views, and versus like my friend or the other brand gets 50,000 views or 100,000 views. I would be less concerned about that because even for us, like sometimes I'll post up a clip and it'll get 30,000 views, and a day later I'll post up a similar type clip and I'll get 3,000 views. For me, that's still 3,000 people that have seen that clip.
Yeah.
It's
a numbers game. It always says that too.
I mean, it's a numbers game. Just keep some people. I know of some creators that only want to post once or twice a week.
Yeah,
that might have been great back in 2018, but it's a whole different world.
Yeah, it's a whole different ball game now. You need to keep putting stuff out there so people can keep consuming it, keep watching it, or they might miss that first one, but they'll watch the one you put in tomorrow.
100%, and that's what the branding is all about: brand awareness, brand awareness, brand awareness. If I only posted up once a week and maybe you saw it and maybe you didn't, but like when I'm posting up shit every single day, I'm hoping I'll catch you sometime this week.
Yeah 100%. And it's always the shit that you think is not gonna hits.
Yeah, totally.
That's why when I was like on the TikTok kick, I was like, it was always the videos like
you just never know. And by the way, not only that, but I have taken the same piece of content, literally the same piece of content. I have put it on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, and I will get vastly different views. I mean, vastly different. I mean, and on TikTok, I do it on not only the main Renegade page, but the way TikTok works is because it's not an audience-based type of your followers on TikTok. It don't mean shit. It don't mean anything. Yeah. Okay. But how am I going to reach my audience? I take my personal one, I post it on my personal, tag the main one, and then I share it. And that shows it to my audience. Okay, that's the only way I can reach you as my audience on TikTok is by basically doing that workaround. But like I posted something in my personal one on TikTok, I only got like 2,000 followers. But sometimes I'll post something, I'll get 40,000 views. And the same one I posted on the main page, I got only like 400 views. There's no rhyme or reason to it.
No, it's just the weird way the algorithm
just
works
numbers,
or
man.
whatever.
It is just numbers. It is just numbers. And that's why, I just like for anybody that wants to be a creator or wants to be successful creating, whether it's their brand or like the product brand or their own person as a brand,
or themselves.
You got to be on that all the time, man. You don't think, and and I say this a lot because almost all of my creators are women. Women own social media. And I get a lot of flack for it because I use women, not use the word use, but I use them in conjunction with collaboration.
With them,
I work with the women because they own social media. Like for example, one of my great partners, Lacey Blair, powder coater, truck builder. She's actually here in LA for a couple 3 months. They hired her to do a Netflix series. Why is she important to me? She's a blue collar girl that does shit with her hands, so she's able to use my product, and it's believable that she's using my product. And honestly, if I look at her metrics, 90+% of her followers are men. Those are the people I want to reach. Okay. And 100%. Those guys are going to resonate with her because they see her powder coating and getting shit under her fingernails and all that kind of stuff. She's under the hood doing stuff. As opposed to like, okay, I mean, there are a ton of bikini models out there and bikini pages but like, is it really going to be believable that this bikini model is going to be using my spray wax to clean her Lamborghini?
Yeah, no way.
Yeah.
She's got somebody to do that for her.
No, she's got somebody to do that. Thank you.
And that's why I tell people too, like, social media is dope, especially with women, because it's like, obviously me being a guy, what's the first thing I see? Hot chick, right? Then I see a hot chick working on her bike. Oh shit, she's hot and she knows how to do shit. That's pretty fucking cool. You know what I mean?
That's a great
message. And that's where and like we have a friend that we had her on the show, Blue Collar Barbie. She's a welder. You know what I mean?
know Blue Collar Barbie.
And she actually gets down and she does this shit. So it's like not only is she an attractive woman, but she also gets down and she does her shit.
Right.
You know what I mean?
See that's and that's our inspiration when you and hopefully you all come down and I can show you the mural live. But if you look at our mural, it's got a lowrider, it's got a big rig because there are two main markets that we're servicing. And then right in the middle is this beautiful Latina that is a blue collar Latina, and she's holding a grinding machine. And that is indicative to us basically of a good looking blue collar girl, not relying on her OnlyFans to get her through life, but actually, welding or grinding or doing whatever.
Getting down,
Yep.
And that's why I tell people with women too. It's like, hey, don't be afraid to get into fucking male-dominated industries as well, because all those guys that back then would be like, oh, this is just for guys or shit like that. That's all going away.
Oh no,
that's all gone.
It's not 95 anymore.
No, definitely not.
And that's the beauty of today's world is like really anybody, any male or female. Man, if they just want to put in the time and the hustle, they can really do it. I mean, it's just,
and of course, you're gonna have those negative people. They're still out there. They're minimal.
They're always gonna be there.
But,
oh, dude,
but
there's
fuck
always,
that.
there's
as long as you're good at what you're doing, at the end of the day, people do have to recognize that.
There's
and
always going to be hate on social media. We get our fair share. I see a lot of my girls get get all kinds of hate, but there's just always going to be assholes on social media. It's just the nature of the game. That's just the nature of what it is.
If you're doing something right, there's gonna be haters.
Yeah.
I feel like that means that you're doing it right.
No, totally, yeah. I mean, you get whatever, you get 50 comments and one of them's like a fuck you. It's like, okay, whatever. Like, I got 49 great comments, you know? It's like, 49, I got 49 people that voted for me and and that's what you want.
Yeah, and that's a win,
Exactly.
That's a win.
100%. So that comes down to basically just hustle at the end of the day, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
And that would be my advice to anybody. Like, you look at Renegade Products again, not that I'm trying to plug this, but it's like...
You plug it, man.
Like, look within Renegade Products. So we make liquids for detailing, right?
Yeah.
And we started about a year ago. My son Garrett started a program for private label. Okay? Back in the old days, if you wanted your own brand of spray wax, and you'd go to someone like me, say, yeah, you know what, I can do that for you, but the minimum order quantity is 10,000 bottles.
Yeah.
I want a check for $50,000 to do it. Well, we took that whole concept and said, let's just do a minimum order quantity, because we got so many professional detailers and independent store owners and shops that want to have their own brand. So we condensed it down to it. We streamlined the process. So for 60 bottles, you can get your name on the bottle.
On the bottle.
It's your bottle.
Yeah.
And you can, and the beauty about it is now you can also market it. It's not like you're limited back in the old days. Like, I got to go knock on Pep Boys and get my product on the shelf. No, man, you got Shopify, you got WordPress, you got all these avenues where you can, including Instagram and TikTok and everything else, where you can now market yourself and your product directly to the consumer. It's about name building and brand building. And as long as you want to spend the time and the energy, and honestly, sometimes the money to do it, it can be done.
Yeah. And that's great. You know, because say for instance me that not knowing about your product or something, and I got my detailer guy coming in and I see his logo on there.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh shit, that's pretty cool. And then he can be like, you know what, I actually got it from this company. You know.
Yeah,
and
you can do that. You can just do it by yourself. Like, you know, we've had several private label brands that started off, well, we just want one product. We just want the waterless wash.
Yeah.
Because everybody uses waterless. So I'm going to come and wash your car today.
Cresty waterless wash.
Yeah, you know, buy this bottle from me. Keep your stuff clean between now and the next time I see you in a couple of weeks. Something like that, okay. And they start off with that, and then they add another product, and they add another product, and it's soon like they've got their own little mini line going because they're able to market. It's just marketing.
Yeah, that's all it is.
So it comes down to, and that's the beauty of social media. You don't necessarily need to have 100,000 or 500,000 or 1 million followers, but you just have to have the right amount of loyal followers that you can work with on the ground and
good
in
product,
that space.
you know? And good product.
Product does help, definitely.
Goes back to what you were saying earlier about not being so reliant on one thing. You know, it's just like you not being so like, okay, hey, this is mine and only mine, and I'm the only one who could label it as mine. No, fuck that. I'm gonna make my money. If somebody else wants to throw something on there, then hey, we'll charge you for that too.
No problem. No, I love the private label, because the private label for me, it's like, okay, we make our money. Is it less than we make by selling it to the consumer? Yeah, absolutely, for sure. But at the same time, it's like I don't have the burden of the advertising though.
Yeah.
It's like that's your job now.
Yeah.
You're the one. You have to spend the time promoting and selling and shipping, all that kind of stuff. So, you know, the awards of that should be yours.
Yeah.
Most of the private label people, actually almost all the private label people, they actually make more money than we do. They make more money reselling the product than we do, because we got to make it. We got to pay for my materials, for my overhead, for my people. We got a little bit of money left over for the G-Wagon, and then that's our profit. And let's just say, like I sell you the bottle for $5, and you're going to sell it for 10 to 15.
Yeah.
Well, I'm selling you the product for $5, and you're selling it for 10 to 15. If I'm selling you for $5, you know, within that $5, there's all my other costs involved.
Yeah. But it's a pretty smart idea. I like that. I think that's pretty cool.
Oh, dude, yeah, we get inquiries now from Australia, from Ireland. Like, people just like, they want their own brand, because you just can't do it. No. There's still, you know, the people that own several of these large brands. Like, if you go to them and say, hey, we want our own private label, they're going to tell you that. Like, how many thousands are you going to buy?
Yeah.
As opposed to just buy 60. I'll put your label on it.
Yeah.
We bought our own in-house printer. We do all that stuff in-house for you. You just basically, it's turnkey. People love it. It's great. Everybody wins.
Cart. Ad.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it is. Yeah.
That's sweet.
People just upload their shit and upload the logo we created. Here, sign off on it. Great. Let's print. Come pick it up next week.
That's fucking awesome.
Oh, yeah.
What advice do you have to anybody out there who wants to take the plunge into starting their own business? What's your, if you could tell them one thing before they start, what would it be?
Oh, you just have to be patient. It just takes a lot of time. There are no shortcuts. I mean, I started MySpace, not MySpace, not the MySpace platform. I started off in a 1,000 square foot little industrial shell over in La Mirada, way back when. Mm-hmm. And I just bought from people like me and sold to people that made this table. And it just takes time and hustle and, you know, creativity and ingenuity and persistence. And you got to be ready to get your prostate checked a few times along the way. That's going to happen. You know, that's just the nature of small business. But there are just no shortcuts. It just takes time. Like, I am where I am. Like, you know, I was like selling sanding belts when, you know, Jesus was running around, and or feels like it anyway. And you know, it's just where it is. It just takes time. And I haven't slowed down. It's like, actually,
and you still got plenty of time.
And for me, it's like, no, I don't really. Back in the old days, I'd hop in a car and go visit, you know, 20 customers a day. But like, I just don't do that anymore, because it's just like, it's all right here.
Yeah. Send them an email real quick. How's it going? What do you
Hey,
need?
you good? You need anything?
DMs, text messages, a lot of ad spend. I mean, back when I was running around in the 90s and 2000s.
No more billboards, okay?
It was just you had to go and there was a lot more manufacturing in
Yeah.
Southern California. So it would justify hopping in a car and visiting somebody for a $3,000 or $4,000 order. That's just all gone.
Yeah.
Everything is just small now. So it's you just reach them by social media and by ad spend.
Yeah.
Hey.
It's great.
And I would say also to a lot of you out there that want to start your own brand or have started your own brand. Ad spend, I think, is a very important aspect of how people go to market. A lot of people are afraid to spend money for ads because, call up Google or Facebook or you get an ad agency or something like that. And, you can't really do it very well on a small scale. But, you can still boost your posts. And you'd be surprised at how productive those boosts are for brand awareness. It's just you have to carry it to the next level of, okay, great. Like I boost my post for like $25, for example, an Instagram post. But what are you trying to achieve out of it? You got to understand. You got to find a way to drive them to your website.
Yeah.
And that's where a lot of disconnect. Something. Yeah. You got to make sure you're going all the way as opposed to just like, oh, okay, I boosted it and people saw me. Okay, now what? I mean, like, you're not getting. It's like back in the old days, it'd be called. I can't pay my electricity bill by collecting business cards.
Yeah.
You got to get the orders.
Yep.
Yeah. Of course,
And
100%.
the saying goes, "Scared money don't make money." So
That's very true.
you got to do it.
Yeah.
Anything else coming up, as in like events or anything that you got going on?
Yeah, actually. So this weekend, when's this one published? When you publish?
We should be having it up Monday or Tuesday of next week.
Okay, so it'll be after that. Okay, so we've got at Renegade itself, we've got 2 events coming up. We've got I think August 6th. We've got a cars and coffee type of situation with I think it's called Donuts and Wheels or something like that. If you heard of it or not. They'll be doing that. I think the August 6th from like 8 to 11 or something like that. Pretty typical. Great community of bunch of great looking vehicles, some vendors, that kind of stuff. And then on the 19th of August, also at our place, we'll be hosting the Wolfsburg group team club, which is primarily all air cooled VWs or air cooled vehicles that are from the 60s and 70s.
Okay.
So those and everybody's welcome to come down and enjoy the scene. We great food, great vendors, great music, great cars.
Sounds like my deal.
And I know we'll probably make a reel of this part right here, but where can people buy your product? Where can they reach you at? You want to throw your little plug in right
Yeah,
now?
absolutely. The best place for us is best place to find our products are on our website, www.renegadeproductsusa.com. You can also download our app. App makes we're one of the few people that have actually put together an app. Makes shopping so much easier, whether you're sitting on your couch or in the backyard, or if you want to like drive and
on
shop
the toilet, whatever, dog, wherever you wherever it's more convenient. That's what I like, convenience. You know what I mean?
Convenience. That's what the name of the game. We're trying to make it as easy as possible, not necessarily just to buy product, but as easy as possible to navigate through the product so you can see what you want. Yeah, and that's it's like it's all about convenience. Honestly, like I do my own fair share of online shopping, and I prefer the apps. It's just so you can just navigate around them so much easier versus like trying to do stuff on a a browser or something like that. It's a pain in the behind sometimes.
Yeah.
Okay.
And of course, we are on Amazon as well.
Amazini.
There you go.
As is everybody.
No excuses.
Walmart also. Walmart's trying to take a good crack at Amazon. They're building a platform very similar to Amazon. So Walmart.com also has some of our products. We have tried doing some stuff with TikTok, but they, as much as they're an incredible entertainment platform, I think they still have a little bit way to go. Being like
with their TikTok shop and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's a very cumbersome system that they have. So we're keeping an eye on it. I mean, it's going to happen sooner or later. But
eventually.
We're just not there with it yet.
So okay. Any final words? Anything else you want to tell the people?
I want to just tell people, just like, listen, just get on your social media and just stick to it and be committed to it, because that is not only our like recent life, but that is definitely going to be the future. God knows, as we sit here right now, we're all accustomed to thinking Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Like, but fast forward 10 years from now, who knows what platform will be out there?
Yeah.
Look at Facebook. Meta just launched Threads. basically the competitor to Twitter.
Twitter, yeah, and it's booming right now.
Yeah,
supposedly.
and we hopped on like immediately. We don't know exactly what they're doing, and we don't know what we're doing within Threads yet. But I'm going to tell you something about the fine folks at Meta. They're going to find a way for us brands to be able to advertise on there. So I want to be ready for it.
Yeah.
Because that's the name of the game. It's like, honestly, if it wasn't for the advertising aspect of it, the marketing aspect of it, I would just be happy, honestly, just being a consumer. I would scroll through TikTok and enjoy the conspiracy theories that I enjoy, and that's it. And if that's what you want to do, that's fantastic. If you're a consumer, consume. But if you are a brand, you better be on there branding.
100%.
Coming from a businessman
Said
himself,
by the Tony Stark of detailing products. You heard it first, folks.
Yeah. Actually, the Ron Jeremy.
The Ron Jeremy, there you go.
The hedgehog of
Hedgehog.
In my own mind. Sorry about that. You know how guys are.
She grew up with me. She knows how we get down.
Yeah, I'm from the 80s. He was king back in the 80s.
Yeah, he was. He really was. But yeah, we really appreciate you taking the time. I know you got a busy schedule, and we really do appreciate you coming down.
We'll see you homeboys again, hopefully.
For
all right?
sure,
of course,
man.
of
Definitely,
course,
we'll be around.
August 6th, we'll try to get out there.
Yeah, it'd be great.
Yeah, definitely.
We'll
We'll definitely
that
show up
Come on
for
out.
sure.
Or if you want to come out earlier, just come on out. Just let me know. I'm usually in the office almost all the time, either on my phone
Okay.
Doing stuff, yeah.
or walking around the factory.
All right, for sure. So we'll catch you guys on the next one. We'll see where this goes.
Take it easy.
Is that a cut? All right.
Yeah.